So what do you get when you combine the latest version of Polygon's best-selling trail bike with all the industry's hottest products? Well, this, the Polygon Siskiu T0. Bolted to that beautiful frame is Fox factory suspension, a full Shimano XT group set, and more. In fact, when you start adding up the parts on this build, it starts to look like Polygon is essentially giving the frame away for free. And not just any frame. Like I said a second ago, this is a brand new, fully updated frame that just came out a few months ago. It essentially took everything that made the previous generation Siskiu so popular and then tweaked a few things to fully future-proof these models. For instance, you now get UDH compatibility, meaning you can run SRAM T-type drivetrains should you choose. The new frame also gets improved cable routing and a stiffer, stronger rear triangle. They also added a second set of mounting points below the top tube, allowing you to cleanly attach a multi-tool or gear bag. Last but not least, especially for folks like myself who ride a size small, all frame sizes are now coming with a 29-inch wheel front and back. This means shorter riders are no longer forced into riding a compromised wheel size. There's been a few tweaks to the geometry as well. The head tube angle is now half a degree slacker than it was before, coming in at 65 degrees. The seat tube angle is steeper at 77 degrees, and reach numbers have grown by about 5 millimeters on every frame size. For reference, a size medium is now at 465 millimeters. Those changes help riders with confidence and comfort on steeper terrain, but thankfully Polygon hasn't forgotten what makes a Siskiu T so much fun in the first place, and that is, well, the fun. It still comes in with 430 millimeter chainstays, keeping the bike as poppy as ever. And while the wheelbase has grown slightly, the low bottom bracket and middle of the road head tube angle maintain the same agility and cornering prowess that earned it its well-deserving cult following. Add all that up, and it becomes quite clear that this isn't just some half-hearted model revision that Polygon threw out to sell more bikes. Instead, Polygon has injected a healthy dose of modernization to the bike without fully neglecting its unique, playful personality that I and so many others have come to love. So that's the frame. But let's be honest here, the thing that sets the T0 apart from the rest of the Siskiu T lineup have to be the components. And while it'd be easy to get caught up in the glamour of parts like the new Fox 36 factory or full Shimano XT group set, the thing I want to focus on here is the value. Because what if I told you that realistically, you couldn't buy just the components off this bike for the price of the entire build? The highlight of the build, at least in my opinion, is the 140mm Fox 36 fork. This is the latest version that Fox just released last spring. It features a brand new damper, brand new air spring, and of course, this super sweet looking arch, which was supposedly designed using AI to increase overall stiffness while also decreasing weight. But all that technology will cost you, and if you were to buy this fork for its sticker price, that would set you back a good $1,200. The Fox factory trend continues as we move to the back of the bike, where we will find the beautiful Fox FloatX factory shock. The FloatX is perfect for a bike like the Siskiu T, delivering the extra oil volume needed to maintain performance on long, chunky descents while still providing playful performance and easy setup and tuning. Throw on the Kashima coating found on this factory option and you have yourself a beautiful piece of kit, one that would cost you $600 if you bought it from Fox. So right there with just suspension alone, you're looking at about $1,700 MSRP, which is about half the cost of the entire build. But we're not stopping there, because next up we're going to talk about the group set. Everything here is Shimano XT, and when I say everything, I mean it. You get XT brakes, shifter, derailleur, cassette, and even chain. I've been riding an XT drivetrain on my personal bike for years, and love its crisp, reliable shifting. Unsurprisingly, it was no different here. As for brakes, this was actually one of my first time trying XTs, and I was blown away by their powerful and consistent performance. Collectively, if you were to purchase every single part on the XT drivetrain separately, you'd be out about $600 MSRP. And it's a similar story for the brakes, with each end of the bike, including lever, caliper, and rotor, totaling to $290. While we're on the subject of XT, it's worth noting that you also get XT hubs, which would set you back another $180. But there's more value here than just the big ticket parts. Now, the T0 comes spec'd with the Physic Terra Alpaca X5, a premium saddle that would usually set you back a whopping 120 bucks. And while we're at it, we may as well add in the $190 for the Trans-X dropper post that it's mounted to. Last but not least, the T0 comes spec'd with a Maxxis Minion DHF up front and a dissector in the rear. For the true bike nerds out there, you'll be happy to hear that both tires get Maxxis 3C compound and an EXO Plus casing in the front, and double down in the rear. And for the number crunchers, those list for around $100 each. I love seeing these heavier duty tires spec'd on the T0. It gives you peace of mind to charge hard through sharp rocks and big compressions without worrying about punctures. But you've probably noticed that we haven't talked about a lot of important stuff. The stem, the bars, and of course, wheels. Those are all in-house Polygon items that you couldn't buy aftermarket, but suffice to say, they'd easily add another few $100s to our total. Now, you'll have to head over to bikesonline.com yourself to see the most recent price listing for the Siskiu T0, but it's more or less equivalent to the part value we just totaled up. That means that more or less, you're getting this fully redesigned frame that we just talked about, basically for free. Compare that to other similarly spec'd bikes that are usually costing $1,000 to $2,000 more, and you start to really understand why this bike is such a big deal. So clearly, the Siskiu T0 is no slouch when it comes to value. But what does that mean when we add all that up out on the trail? Well, I'm glad you asked, because in a word, it rips. From the first ride, what stood out to me was just how capable this bike feels. Whether it was on the climbs or the descents, the bike always felt like it was asking me to push just a little harder. Now, given the components and the time that I'd spent on the previous generation bikes, I was not surprised to find this on the descents. But when I started climbing, that was another thing altogether. Pedaling performance is particularly impressive for a bike that's clearly built with the fun part of mountain biking in mind. The seat tube angle keeps you in a strong, efficient position, and the suspension platform does a great job of minimizing unwanted bob without ever feeling harsh. But it's when you get that T0 pointed downhill when things start to get really good. The combination of modern geometry with some of the best suspension and brakes in the game make for some euphoric descents. You never have to wonder if the bike can keep up with where you're pointing it, because let me tell you, it can. It tracks predictably through rock gardens and really stays composed under hard braking. But it's still a blast on mellower flow trails and jump lines. As I already alluded to, the bike is super poppy and easy to throw around in the air. And the short chain stays and low bottom bracket make cornering a dream. Another thing that impressed me was just how good everything felt straight out of the box. Sometimes you get on a bike that takes a lot of fussing and fiddling to get dialed in, but not the T0. It took less than 15 minutes to build up, and from then on, everything from the brakes to the suspension to the drivetrain just worked. This of course means more time on the trails and less at the workbench. So to conclude, the Siskiu T0 really does give you that pro-level performance without the bougie price tag associated with it. And speaking of price tags, you're essentially getting an entire free frame just with the price of the components alone. And the best part is that the Siskiu T is available in a wide range of build kits and prices, all with the same freshly redesigned frame. The lineup spans 5 different builds: the T6, T7, T8, T9, and this, the flagship T0, all of which coming in at a different price point to suit the needs of just about everyone. So if you like what you're seeing here but want something a little more affordable, you could step down the range and still get the same future-proof frame that's at the heart of the bike. I've left a link to our website, bikesonline.com, in the description, where you can learn more about the shop and the entire Siskiu T lineup. Before you get out of there, I'd love it if you throw a comment down below, a like, and subscribe to Bikes Online channel where I'll be hanging out. And after you've done that, get out there, grab any bike you have, and get ripping.